Okay, so still talking about this briefly. He wraps it up going, in any case, Stone's loyalty to the Silent Book is questionable, since in 1999 he published his own version of Necronomicon, a humble pamphlet of 45 pages published by Sacred Grove Press. Stone must have changed the name of his publishing company from Crystal Dawn after seeing some of her old videotapes. Honestly, I think this guy's got a thing for Crystal Dawn. I'd never heard of her before. And actually, Sacred Grove was the original name of the publishing press that put out the original edition of the Sorcerer's Handbook that they were privileged enough to own. And then it went to Crystal Dawn, then it went to Purple Earth. And now it's actually Truth Seeker, so whatever. The Sorcerer's Handbook is definitely an amateur production. The diagrams are drawn by hand. The pages are photocopied and held together by a plastic ring binder of the type you would find at Kinko's. Looking back, it makes me glad that I wasn't able to get anything published when I was 17. Actually, I was like 16. I think he actually wishes he did get something published when he was 16. My lord. The kicker, though, is he says this is essentially the Beavis and Butthead approach to magic. So, hey, it's one critic's perspective. With tax, the book will run you about 30 bills, and I don't know, there isn't any practical magic in it or any advocation of anything. In fact, it's a 400 some odd page book that is actually sets out to disprove any existence of the Necronomicon by two people claiming to be fanatics, so it's interesting that way. So to get to the question, we had a question about the Great Bear as the key to the gates. And so the gates of the Necronomicon, we have our own Lanky up on ours, but the gates of the Necronomicon is almost entirely dedicated to this topic, that of which is coming up on April 30th. And actually, the last half of the book is nothing but these tables of timing and whatnot, of which we use for calculating the Beltane gate. So, an enormous amount of attention is paid by all astrologers and most occultists to the planets, the sun and the moon, and the 12 constellations of the zodiac. What is little understood today is the tremendous importance formerly paid to the most familiar constellation in the Northern Hemisphere, the Great Bear, and its component asterism, the Northern Big Dipper. While the planets, the luminaries, and the zodiac were used as a kind of cosmic clock, useful for telling macrocosmic time and predicting future events, the Great Bear served another purpose entirely. It was the means whereby the initiate entered the supernatural realm. It was the gate to the other world. To the Egyptians, the Dipper, or the Bull's Thigh constellation, as it was known to them, ordered the universe, set the cardinal points in the proper directions, arranged the seasons. It was the heart of the cosmic clock, the very center of the macrocosm. It was the origin of life. And there are, of course, allusions to the Great Bear hanging by its tail in its familiar form, the handles and whatnot, which appears approximately at 11:30 on April 30th, which would be the time when such rites would be embarked upon. And there's now a countdown clock to that on both the MySpaces, so no fear in not being reminded of that as we get closer to it and things to come.